You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. My name is Dini. I'm your host tonight. I do have to say that this particular episode is pre-recorded, and I can't wait to deliver it to your inboxes. And for you guys who subscribe to the show, you'll be the first to know, and I always appreciate that. All right, before I bring my guest on, I do want to say there is an idea in the acorn. There is no tree in the tiny acorn, but there is a persistent idea of a tree. The acorn cannot move on its own or ask for help or even think for itself, but it can hold on to that idea, and it does. It sincerely does. When the tiny acorn becomes overwhelmed and buried by its surroundings, it then begins to express the idea. It does not complain or wish for more, but makes use of what it has to promote and manifest this idea, the idea of a tree that it holds in its every fiber. When the storms come, it does not fear them or hide from them, but uses them to continue expressing the idea it holds of a mighty tree. When the scorching sun beats down, the acorn takes that energy and puts it to a productive use, transforming its idea into reality. And you know what? Little by little, cell by cell, the idea of a tree begins to become a tree. The hardships, the challenges come, and still this idea persists, and the tree that is its object grows bigger and even stronger. The idea in the acorn becomes a magnificent oak tree, and it does so using only the resources which happen to come to it. So think about this though. You have a big advantage over the acorn because you can think, you can learn, you can move yourself around and do other cool things, and even move other things around. So just imagine then how more magnificently you can express your own dreams and ideas, making positive use of whatever may come your way. Take that from me, Coach Dini. That is my word. Are you ready?
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Dini. Our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these awesome human beings, the ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in saying welcome, friend, to the incredibly talented and inspiring Tedi Tuttle. With nearly 50 years of experience as an author, poet, and composer, Tedi has created a world rich with imagination and heart. From her acclaimed King Tut the Musical to her beautiful family biographies and children's books, Tedi's work celebrates history, family, and the power of creativity. A mother of 9 and a lover of music, Tedi's story is as vibrant as her creations. So with that, let's welcome her to our show. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Where am I talking to you at?
We are in Texas.
Texas.
Yes.
Okay. Just so I can visualize where you're at.
All right. And you?
Here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Nice. We have a trip coming up there in October.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll be on a cruise.
Ah, nice. So, what has been on your heart and mind lately as you're sharing your story and all of your wonderful creations?
Oh, there are so many things on my mind. I was thinking about, somebody had asked me who my heroes were, and, Joseph of Egypt is one of those. David, in the story of David and Goliath. Noah, calling all of the animals into the ark. I just love these guys. But I grew up on a ranch in the middle of nowhere in the Rocky Mountains. And I've just been thinking, as I've had other hosts ask me questions about my past and my childhood, I'm thinking Texas. I've been to San Antonio, which I just love down there. In the hot summer, we went down there in August. But the things that are on my heart and mind is celebrating life. We all need to celebrate life and whatever we're doing. And sometimes we forget when we get stressed out, we aren't celebrating very much. And so my story is about a celebration of life with Joseph, based on King Tut the Musical. I wrote this as a musical clear back in 2004, 2005. We put it on in 2008 at the Egyptian Theater in Ogden, and then once in Salt Lake 4 years later. But I have 9 children, and so 4 of my children were in that play in 2008. I grew up doing theater. I love theater. I love live, seeing people. One show is never the same as the next one. They're always a little bit different. People put their personalities in it. And I love that about, theater. But I also love singing. I grew up singing with 2 sisters. We did trios from the time I was 3 or 4. The things that are on my heart and mind are truth, freedom at this time of year, thinking of our lives and that they really do matter when sometimes people don't think they matter, or we don't think ourselves matter, but each individual is important. And it's been quite a thrill to be able to write music. My mother was a concert pianist and a singer. She had lots of sisters. And so we grew up singing, and singing is my life. The reason I'm going on a cruise in October is I'm going to be with my singing group, and we are going to be singing on the cruise.
Ah, wonderful.
They told us we could not sing any patriotic American songs. What?
I could imagine, yeah.
Well, it's for everybody, I guess. So we're still going to celebrate. So life is a celebration, whether it's just, I use a lot of photography and stuff like that. I'm always taking pictures I love taking pictures of flowers. It's God's creations right around us, the trees, and they are amazing. I guess, what other things do you want to know?
Well, there's a lot that you mentioned. I guess I could start with talents. There seems to be numerous avenues of talents that you have, and you're actually using those gifts that God has given you, and not hiding them in your pocket. Have you always been this expressive with your creations?
No, it's taken me a long time to develop some of these.
Really?
Hmm.
How so?
The singing part has always been there. I thought everybody could sing, but when I went away to college, there was 5 of us in a room, 5 girls, and they had a shortage of places to put people that year. So instead of having 4, we had 5. So I had one roommate that was from El Paso, Texas, and she proved to me that there are people who cannot sing. She could only carry one tone, so she's a monotone. And I'd never heard of anyone like that, because I grew up singing. My uncles all sang. My mother's sisters and brothers all sang. In fact, one of my mom's youngest brothers made a record back in the Midwest when he was serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And back then, they recorded it on a record. Most of the kids these days do not even know what a record or a record player is.
Yeah. They try to make a comeback.
Yes, they are. But, it's easy to pull out your phone and pull up all the music from iHeartRadio, or I listen to KBYU 89.1 every day of my life because it's classical music. I love classical music. So the thing about music is, where my mother played the piano, I would go to sleep at night. I mean, we didn't have a record player back then. We didn't even have a television. So my mother would sit down at the piano and play these beautiful classical songs from Mozart and Chopin, and one that was not from the masters. It was called Swaying Iris, or maybe it was Swaying Daffodils. I looked it up one day. They were just beautiful songs as I drifted away to sleep, having all this beautiful music in my mind and on my heart. So later, by the time I became a little more aware of during high school, I started thinking I wanted to be a poet. And so I started writing some poems inspired by my English teacher in high school. Our population of the whole school from freshmen to senior was only 120 students. So, I mean, there was not that many of us, and each person was an individual, and each person was important. So then I picked up the piano, basically. I never really had piano lessons, but since my mother was a concert pianist, she basically would teach me stuff, and I would read all her theory books because she was also had all these college books from her college days. And I also picked up I liked the idea of languages. She was always speaking in German because she took German in college. I didn't really pick that up very much, but my first foreign language I learned in college was French, and that opened a whole new world of conjugating verbs, and it made it easier for me to realize that our language, we do the same thing. We conjugate verbs and we don't even know it. And then when I went to BYU, Brigham Young University, I took reading and writing in Spanish. So that opened up a whole new avenue of, I love writing. So I've loved writing for a long time. I think what cemented a lot of my writing is once I had children, after I was married, and I've had 9 children, which is the crowning glory of my life. I love my children. They're all very accomplished. All of them are basically college graduates, except for my one son that has a heart transplant. So he was sort of like Joseph of Egypt. He was a special one that got all the special attention. And he only weighs around 105 pounds, and he's 6 foot tall. And he just had a new heart transplant last year. See, there's another story I could write. Yeah. But really, as I've gone along, my son Daniel it was the inspiration for starting to write children's illustrated stories. And I was an art and design major at a junior college to start with, and then I decided to take time out and spend a summer in Jackson, Wyoming, which was a really fun time. It really opened my eyes to a lot of people up there like to make things and sell stuff. And, you know, I love the smell of the leather. There was a shop that was just leather clothes, skirts and shirts and pants, and that was really amazing. And it got it into my mind that, what do I have that I could give to people? You know, what talents could I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always writing music with my guitar. I learned to play the guitar in a sophomore in high school, basically in my chorus class.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't really know if I could ever write music on a piano. I mean, that really took a lot longer. When I got a Finale Music program in 2004 and 5 through there, it opened a whole new world of, oh, wow, this is wrong, I can fix it. But when I did King Tut the Musical, I mouse clicked every note that's in like 48 songs that I wrote.
Wow. What kind of music do you perform now?
We do basically Christmas music for people who are in nursing homes. We do Handel's Messiah at Christmas time in West Jordan at the Viridian Center. We usually go on one summer trip in the United States, and then the next year we go out of the country. So last year we went to Yellowstone and Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we got to sing at a church, and there was like 500 people there, and they were so quiet.
Mm.
Our director is 84 years old, and he's sort of, this might be his last year. But he gets up there, and he is this little bent-over guy, but when he gets to directing this, he stands up there and he says, "Let's sing." And he has a way of directing our music that is just like angel singing. And I feel like I was an angel in heaven before I came here. Maybe helped welcome Jesus' birth when it came, like that story about Journey to Bethlehem that came out filmed in Spain this last year. That was so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just love music. I love the cello. I have never taken that up, but I took up fiddle lessons when I was about 23 with a local old-time fiddler from Idaho. And so a bunch of us in our little community, when we'd get together for celebrations at the park or whatever at the church, we'd all get up there, and we had several songs we had memorized because fiddle is playing the violin by ear. And it was just a lot of fun, and people would dance to our music.
Nice.
But I love entertaining. I've always been in a group to sing with, from Sweet Adelines to the J. Welch Chorale. We sang, I sang 5 years with the Salt Lake Symphonic Choir, and now I'm in the Mountain West Chorale. And I've been with them since about 5 years now.
Nice.
So I love singing, I love entertaining, I love the joy that music brings into the hearts of people.
Yeah. So in the beginning, you mentioned that your heroes were, sort of biblical, historical figures. Do you think it's possible to have modern heroes nowadays?
Oh, there's a lot of heroes. I mean, I have to tell you this one story. I have 5 sons that I took camping one year, and one was only 18 months old. And I decided I was going to go camping. I mean, I have a lot of heroes, but I have to tell this story because it was on my mind tonight when I saw that you were from Texas. Anyway, my husband was out of town, and my oldest daughter wasn't around, and so I told him it's almost the end of the summer, school's going to be starting, and we are going camping. And so we drove up the canyon to Middle Canyon, and some of my heroes are my family members, like my grandpa Norton Ray Tuttle, and of course, my dad. These are people I've never really known because all my grandparents died before I was born, except for Ormus Tuttle. But anyway, I took my kids camping. We had to stop at Kmart because my son had no shoes. My little 18-month-old son had no shoes. So we set a campfire and we ate under this big cliff outcropping of shale. It's a wonder we didn't die by a creek. And we cooked chicken,
Wow.
but the best piece was the one that fell in the fire that I brushed the char off, and we had s'mores. And then, as we got in the tent, at the top, we lifted the flap and we could see the stars and the moon. And by flashlight, I read to them about George Washington. It's a very old paperback book that I've had for years, and that's how they dropped off to sleep with their soft snoring.
That's sweet. And a good memory.
Oh, yes. I mean, they thought they were all going to die or a cougar was going to eat them. That's another story.
Did you see any cougars?
No.
Okay.
We were more concerned about the people whizzing up and down the canyon well after 10 o'clock, that we hoped that they wouldn't stop to kill us or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's almost, more fear of humans than animals.
Yeah.
Should be the other way around, right?
Yeah, well, I grew up on a ranch in Idaho, and so we had animals. We had chickens, and we sold eggs when I was little. We had a big, chicken coop. We've had a lot of fun adventures. In fact, one time the wind was blowing, and my older sister Carla decided we were going to fly. So we got out the bed sheets, and we jumped up on top of the chicken coop, which we'd converted into the barn about the time I was born. And I was around age 10, and the wind that summer was really kicking up, and we thought we were going to jump off and fly with our sheets because there's a pile of stuff out in front that's from the cows. And we jumped off, and of course we didn't fly. We just fell in the manure pile.
Oh.
It was a lot of fun. We had an adventure as kids.
Absolutely. All right, so we covered the book King Tut the Musical, which focused on Joseph. I want to ask you this before I let you go. Is there a lesser-known historical figure or character in the Bible that you would like to do a story about?
Like write about someday?
Yeah.
Well, I just love all of them. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Book of Mormon, but I love Nephi, and I love these other scriptural people that lived here in ancient America. Alma the Younger is one of my favorites, and I think his story needs to be told. He was converted to Christianity when he was being a bad boy and trying to destroy the church. That was a long time ago. I probably will not ever write about another Bible hero. I think in titles of books, and my number 5 kid had a heart transplant again last year. So I did write a book about his heart transplant that's available on my website at tedituttle.com. That's one of the books that's available right now. But eventually I'm going to have all of my books that I've written in the past all on one site where people can see them, because they've been scattered hither and thither. And the first book I did was a cookbook. It was a family favorites with favorite stories, and my aunts and uncles and cousins' recipes. And those get worn out a lot, and I just reprint them for the kids for $10 whenever anybody needs one.
Okay. All right. One more time. Where can our listeners pick up copies of your books?
Okay, so you can go to my website at tedituttle.com. So that's Tedi Tuttle. Looks like Jedi, but it's Tedi. It's Tedi Tuttle. My married name is Wixom, but my books from now on, are going to be Tedi Tuttle. A lot of my creative things that I did, like with poetry, was under my maiden name, Tedi Tuttle. and so it rolls off the tongue a little easier than I've gone in the past. Tedi Tuttle wicks them. Yeah. And so you can actually go to Tedi Tuttle, TUTTLE.com. And it just became live yesterday. We'll have more stuff on. It's going to take a little while to get everything on there. But we have one called Cock-a-Doodle-Doo, I Love You, that we hope to get on. I've been invited to go to the children's fair over in South Korea at Thanksgiving time, and I'm going to do that. And we'll be highlighting a little book called Danny is Different. That's named after my son Daniel, but it's really about Jason. He was like always skinny as a little snake. So it's about a snake born with legs. Of course, he's different. His parents maybe don't really care to have him around. They're wondering what to do.
Is there a date for that release?
Hopefully in the next 6 weeks.
All right. And listeners, just in case you need the website link, I will have it in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys have to do is just click those links. Well, Tedi Tuttle, thank you so much for your time here. I definitely appreciate you and your works.
Thank you so much, Deanie.
Yes. Have a great night and enjoy that cruise coming up in October.
I've never been on one. I hope to.
All right, take care.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio Live. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab it from either Spreaker.com/Only One Media Group, Spotify, Castbox, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, the app Podcast Addict, or over at our website, which again is onlyonemediagroup.com, and that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you like to request some music or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That is V as in Victor. And here's my disclaimer: we are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Just kidding. On behalf of myself, Deanie, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, at all social media sites, as well as Spreaker, YouTube. We always follow back. Okay, well, just remember to put yourself into everything that you do and never stop investing in yourself. Peace, love, grilled cheese, and talk with you later.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.